My motto of life is to die with memories, not dreams. You're going to die one day. You're going to die, and your mum's going to die, and your dad's going to die, and your friends are going to die. And he's going to die, and you're going to die, and you're going to die. We're all going to be dead. And I think sometimes we forget that. I know it sounds so miserable, but I was listening to this thing the other day, and he was just saying, sometimes we think we're going to live forever, and we're not. Like, so I just try and make sure that I'm like present as much as possible. I can't live in the past because it's already gone. I can't live in the future because it's definitely not happened yet. All I can really do is be in the moment. And sometimes I'm like, this is an incredible journey I'm on right now. I'm in this amazing place. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm not wild, but like, for example, in the after party, I could have gone home, but I was like, you know what? We'll go out and have a drink. And it was fun, and it was really great to be a part of. And I definitely push myself sometimes with like having a personal life, like going to the gym, even if it's like 4 a.m, because you have to be on set at 6. Like, but I work hard and play hard. And I think that's the balance for me.
Today on the podcast, we have Chris Appleton, who is a celebrity hairstylist. And would you even say a model? I mean, you look like a Greek god, but don't pretend like you've never heard anybody say that before. But
I think the term being a model is like interesting because it's like, oh, you're, of a look that, people aspire to look like or what sells. I don't know. I always find it's an interesting thing. It doesn't resonate with me very well just because I don't feel like, I know looks are nice and people say, oh, you look cute and stuff, but I think it's really like what I've learned the hard way. Living in LA really is more about the inside than it's the outside of, what makes a person good or aspire to be. I think that means more to me than. So yeah, a lot of people are, oh, you're handsome, but, and it's very nice, but I think it's more, I feel more, I guess, complimented when people are like, he's actually a really nice guy, or someone says something nice rather than just, face value.
Yeah.
Face value, most of Hollywood is good looking, become part of the, Hollywood makeover.
I love that you actually just said that and you started with that because in the business that you're in, right? Like you're in the business of beauty, number one, right? Like that's what you're basically known for these transformations. And for those of you who don't know Chris Appleton, like I say, and everyone can like use these terminologies like celebrity, hairstylist or whatever, but you literally do like everybody. You do J-Lo, you do Kim Kardashian, you do virtually like everybody. Like you did like Dua Lipa for the Grammys just recently.
Yeah.
I guess my first real question is, how did you get started? That's the first part. And then how did you become the go-to guy for Hollywood tastemakers and A-listers?
Kim Kardashian was recently quoted saying, get up off your ass and go to work, And I think that got misinterpreted to what she means because she's actually I think she's incredibly respectful for that. But I think she's basically saying what I feel is that, hard success doesn't come from not working hard. People just think, oh, you're lucky, or I came and tapped you on the shoulder, or it's because you're cute, or it's because you're British, it's because you're whatever. But it really comes down to hard work. So yeah, I started doing hair when I was 13. In the salon. That's when I got my first job. I started earlier than that when I was maybe around 8 or 9. I used to do my mum's hair. And it really started off from doing my mum's hair because she was a mother of 5. She had a really kind of quite hard life. She had a lot of traumas in her life. And I realized that when I did her hair and she looked in the mirror, her shoulders would go back. And I think she resonated feeling like a different person. She forgot about being a mum of 5 and she felt glamorous. She saw herself in a way that, she never knew she could see herself be. And I was always really inspired by the power of transformation. And back then it was kind of like Madonna was the only one that was doing that kind of thing. Every album she had a very distinct look and really transform herself. And now it's become part of our culture that, thanks to Instagram and stuff, we're all changing our looks all the time. But I think for me, I was just always inspired by the power of transformation. But looking good is one thing, but I think feeling good was really where I got, addicted to the job. And I remember my first job in a salon at the age of 13, and I stood there. I remember where I was standing. I can close my eyes now and see it. And someone would walk in, with their shoulders down and kind of, just regular, the hair was tied back. And then they would walk out a different person, the hair would be flowing and the shoulders would be back and they were feeling themselves. And, so I think, the real artistry is not just about the end result. It's really about how great you can make people feel, from cancer patients, people that are going through real trauma, and how you can make a difference to their day. And, looking good and feeling good is really valuable. So yeah, I think it started with that. I kind of kept the same philosophy throughout my whole career. Doesn't matter if it's J-Lo or if it's Mrs. Jones that came in the salon every week. You know, that's my goal, make people look great. I learned my craft. I learned every aspect of hair, pushed myself to know everything, work very hard at that. And then, you know, the rest comes from, I guess, the type of person you are and what it means to you to see people look and feel good, and, you know, how rewarding that is to you as a person. So yeah, that's kind of my journey. I mean, obviously in between, I've done everything. I've done the salon, I've done editorial hair, fashion week, I've done, you know, color degrees, and used to travel to London with my suitcase. It was like a 2-hour train journey because I'm from a small town in Northern England called Leicester. And, you know, I'd go on the train for 2 hours and go and assist and take my suitcase and, you know, come back, and just did it for years, just kept learning. I was like a sponge. I just made sure that even if I was assisting and just passing pins, I'd be watching what people were doing, how they would talk to the clients, how they would do the hair, how they would sculpt the hair, what made them good at what they do, what made them different, what made them the best at that time, you know. How did they finesse that? So I just kind of like absorbed all of that information. So I guess when I moved to LA when I was around 30, I was pretty equipped in the technical knowledge of knowing good hair and knowing what to do. So I think quickly word got around, and I guess, you know, Instagram is thankful for that. You know, people get to see your work, and, you know, if they want to know like, oh, who is this guy? They'll look, you know, like I'm all the time like, oh, so-and-so's good. I'm like, well, let me see their Instagram. Because you get a vibe, you know, Absolutely. You get a vibe of what they're, you know, it's face value vibe, but sometimes that's all you need to know just to sort of see if that's going to work for you or not.
Well, it's also visual. Instagram is a visual, you know, platform. So that's a great way to see people's work, right? Mm-hmm. Doing what you do. But you said something earlier about work ethic and hard work. And that's basically, I agree with you, Cam, and whoever else believes and agrees with that. Couple things, you know, I've noticed, and I was kind of saying this before, like, you do everything in hair, right? You can do color, you can cut, you can do all these different types of stylings. And I feel like I've only noticed people, they're very like specific. Like if you go to a color person or you go to a cut person. So you were doing that at a young age. You were kind of learning all the different elements of doing hair. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And so were you a known person back in London, or was it only because when you moved here at 30, you said like 8 years ago? Yeah. That's not a very long time to kind of, you like blew up, right? Mm. Like, and you've been pretty popular for a very long time. Where did that kind of start? Was it were you already like getting a lot of traction back home? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was working with Rita Ora. She's like a pop star. Yeah. And was at the time. I know Rita, actually. And, you know, she was kind of, we were always doing different looks. And back then she was the only one kind of doing that. It was before Gaga and stuff. It was, and her hair would be short and long and then pink and blue. And I think, you know, posting on Instagram, people just kind of noticed that she was always changing her hair. And then I eventually got an email from J-Lo's team saying, was I available to do her hair for the Vegas show when she was starting to do the Vegas show? And I was thinking like, oh, wow, that's cool. But, you know, that's J-Lo and I'm here in England, so it'll probably never happen. And that's when I kind of thought to myself, you know, I think if I need to take it to the next level, I have to move. I have to go to America, and I think I have to try it. I have to be in Hollywood, because no one's going to fly you over from England. Like if you're available when their person isn't, you get to go in there. But otherwise, you know, I was like, I think I just have to take the leap of faith. And I did. And I left my apartment. I just left everything. It was all actually really crazy to think about, because I finished working with Rita on the 23rd of December and I moved to LA on the 24th. I took 2 suitcases. I left my fully furnished apartment, all my, you know, everything. I had a whole hair thing, a whole hair section. I had a fully furnished apartment with a studio. I had all my like photos, all my awards and stuff I'd won. I just left everything. Just to sort of, I was like, I'm just going to do it. It's like now or never. Like if I overthink this, it's like having a kid. It's like, I'm going to wait for the perfect time. It's like, well, you'll never have enough money and you'll never have quite the perfect, you know, relationship, or, you know, there's always something that you could think of an excuse for. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. And I did it. And for the first 3 months, I didn't do anything. And I remember crying. I was like, I've given up everything and I've spent all my money. And then I got a call from Christina Aguilera's people, to do a hair for The Voice. This was interesting. I had like 3 hours for glam. And I remember on my way, I'd done a lot of research, as you do, on who you're going to work with. And, you know, I saw her iconic videos and, you know, she did Dirty and all the amazing stuff, which made me feel even more anxious because, oh my God, she's such a legend. And then we got to The Voice, and everything in America is just so much bigger. The supermarkets are bigger, like everything. And The Voice in the UK is small compared to, you know, the one in the US. And there was 3 hours for glam.
and sitting there excited, patiently waiting. And the makeup artist went in and then waited a little bit longer. Like an hour went by and I was like, okay, got 2 hours, it's good. And then another hour went by and I was like, oh my God, I've only got an hour. And then like 40 minutes went by and I was like, there's 20 minutes left. So she got me in the last 20 minutes before the live show. And I went in and she's like, okay, what do you want to do, hey? And I was like, okay, I was thinking like this wig would look really cool. And she's like, I've tried wigs, I don't like them. And I was like, of course she's tried wigs. She's Christina Aguilera. She's tried everything. She's worked with everyone.
Right.
And so I started kind of like styling her hair and there's probably like 15 minutes left. I was like, and obviously 15 minutes is not a long time to make your impression. You want to do something, I'd been booked because I'm known to be like the man that transforms. And then I was like, the mother of my kids, who actually were like best friends, I'd spoke to her on the way in the car and I was really nervous. And she said to me, well, think of it this way. If you don't make this work, you're going to have to come home, because you can't stay there forever and not work. And I was like, you're right. So she kind of came into my head and I was like, if I don't make this work, I'm going home. And I was like, oh, fuck it. So I just got a wig and I put it on her head. I was like, I think we should try these. Like, just look at it. And she was like, actually, this looks good. And she said to her stylist, Simone, what do you think? She was like, I like it. And she's like, okay. And so I just quickly put on, it was probably like 10 minutes. She rushed off on TV. She was live on TV and it's out there. And I remember sitting there taking pictures of the screen. I was sending it to Kate and I was like, what do you think? And she's like, it looks great. And then there was like a little break and she kind of was standing there talking to the other judges and she looked over at me and she went, everyone likes your wig. And then just kind of looked away and I was just like, in that moment, I was like, okay, I did it. She, did good, I guess that was the beginning of my relationship with her. And, and then I guess it became a knock-on effect. And we did like the lavender hair with the hair hoops in it. And everyone just kind of, I guess people, when someone's doing something different, like who's doing that? Who's working with that? You know what I mean? It's just a natural thing to kind of do a bit of investigation if you're into that stuff. And then started working with Ariana Grande, and then I started working with Katy Perry, and then Kim, and then J-Lo, I was working with her. And it's funny because when I started working with J-Lo, she said to me, it was for a music video and I was doing her hair and she said, oh, I knew you were the man for the job. And I was like, cool. And I was like, I wonder how she thinks that. And then she said, I've had my eye on you for a while. So she, social media, because she would look and people are always looking, people are always interested, especially in the glam world. You're like, oh, hair's pretty cool. I wonder who's doing that. When something's done well, you get to see, especially when your shit, especially when you know what's good hair and what's bad hair and what's good makeup and what's not good makeup. So yeah, it was just kind of a roll-on effect from that. So yeah, it has been a bit of a whirlwind and everyone's like, you're successful now. And it's very funny because I get stopped a lot now and people want to take pictures or they think they know me or something. And I find that kind of still very interesting because I don't feel any different to how I did when I was 13 really. And I just started doing it because I like making people look and feel good. And I guess it was beyond my wildest dreams to be in the position that I am now, but I am. And then, but I still just feel like, I guess Instagram, with those millions of followers, these are real people that know, like follow your life. Whereas to me, it's almost like a number game. How many likes, how many followers? It's like a computer game, it's just like fun. But when people actually stop you and go, oh my God, you posted that thing about your mom and it meant so much to me. Or, and I'm like, oh my God, wow, real people really resonate with this. To me, it's almost like a journal of my life. I'm kind of like here, I'm there, I'm working with this, I'm doing this and, things I'm proud of, obviously. And so, yeah, it's still kind of, when people stop me, like it's really sweet and I love it. But it's always interesting how people feel like they know you.
Right.
And you
when
forget,
they don't.
But, I guess, that's part of it.
And it's also because they see you. I mean, you have like a huge Instagram account, obviously, but also you're always in the shot or the background on J-Lo's or on Kim Kardashian's who have like hundreds of millions.
Yes.
So it's even like that like subconscious, like they've seen you, but they don't know how they know you. Yeah. And then they see your stuff. So you're always like kind of in the vicinity in a way.
Yeah.
So then you didn't get that So what, after you moved here, you didn't get that J-Lo Vegas job?
No, she wanted to try wigs and stuff. And I think I wasn't available. So I couldn't do it. I was in London where I was with Rita.
Right. So you missed it. You didn't get it.
I kind of missed it. Yeah. I just wasn't available. So then it was kind of waiting for the next opportunity to be available.
Wow. Who's the other person that's if you're unavailable, someone else, like
who for?
For hair, for like,
I think everyone has different people.
No, for whatever reason, and maybe this is it. Like, I only know you. Like, I don't even know another person that is mainstream. I feel.
I mean, I think there's something for everyone. Everyone's amazing. I think there's lots of people I respect, and I think
I'm sure there's amazing people. But I'm just asking for you. Like, who do you look to? Who's like really good?
I'm always looking for inspiration, but it will just be like girls doing their hair on TikTok or like YouTube or someone like when I used to be on the subway and watching girls, how they would have done their hair. And I don't know, I'm really into like street style and how, because the hair I do, I don't think it's like avant-garde. It's not like it's crazy hair that people can't achieve. I just like to create beautiful hair, and I'm just fascinated how people create that, you know. I think a lot of mine is about, Kim said to me once that she can always tell when I've done someone else's hair. And I said, how? And she said, it's the quality you get, it's the finish you get to the hair. So I think that's kind of like, you know, my signature thing. It doesn't matter what the style is, if it's straight, curly, up, down, whatever. It's like the kind of looks finish to the quality of the hair, like the polishness of it. Like, and you know, that's obviously why I work with Colour Wow, because, you know, they're really just, our relationship was very natural because it was just about me using great products to create good hair, you know, and the relationship was very natural. And kind of.
How did it happen, actually? Because I was going to bring that up down the road here, but since you brought it up,
well, it was really organic. It wasn't a proposed thing. It was just I was using their products, and they were like, you know, kind of seeing the hair I was
what's
doing.
your relationship, first of all, with them? Like, how did you get involved?
I am the global creative director, but you know, really, I'm just kind of the, you know, hair guy, and they're like family to me. You know, we have a great relationship. We talk about a lot about product development. We talk a lot about, like, you know, what the market is missing. Gail Federici, who owns Colour Wow, she made John Frieda. So she made John Frieda. That back in the day sold for like 500 million, which was
huge.
The biggest, you know. She knows her stuff. She knows about hair care. She has problems from hair herself. And a lot of it was just really about solving, like they did the range called Frizzies, and because she had frizzy hair, and she's like, there's nothing for like frizzy hair that doesn't make your hair greasy, you know. So she would try everything on herself, and she kind of just really knows what women want. And you know, from being a woman herself, and you know, having real day hair problems, like their root powder touch up, you know, because her grey would come through, and there was nothing that didn't smudge everywhere. To me.
You know? Is it good? Because I haven't used that yet.
Yeah, and you can even swim in it; it doesn't smudge. It's like the small differences which make all the difference.
Yeah, that's like one that you have to be very careful with, the root stuff.
Yeah, because like sprays and stuff tend to be sort of messy and can go everywhere, whereas the powder just goes on effortlessly. It doesn't, you know, go anywhere. It stays, and the color pigmentation is perfect to like blend with all hair colors. But I think Gail had sort of saw a lot of people's books, and she was just kind of, I mean, her words, she would say I was bored by it. Everyone was always presenting me books, and she's like, it doesn't do anything, because she'd seen everyone, she'd done everything.
Right.
And I think when she saw mine, she said it was the first time she'd kind of gone, oh, you know, this guy's is doing something different, but it was still beautiful, and, you know, pushing the boundaries, but not in a like, you know, because you can push the boundaries, but then when you push the boundaries too far, it almost becomes like a costume. It's like Halloween stuff, you know what I mean? Or it's too much. And I think I always try and keep it on the air of, you know, aspirational, you know, for people. So yeah, I spoke to her and we just hit it off, and then, you know, I'd be like, you know, I think you need this product or that. And I think one of our main products we brought out was the Dream Coat, because it kind of changed the whole hair game.
Is that a spray?
Yeah. So basically it's got like a waterproof furniture, so it stops hair frizzing from any like moisture in the air or any humidity. It can't penetrate the hair. It's almost like if you actually spray it on hair and put water droplets, the water droplets just sit on top of the hair. You can like shake them off. They don't absorb into it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I used that on JLo for Super Bowl. You know, in Miami is the worst for humidity.
Tell me about
any
it.
Style, like, you know,
it's the worst.
And her hair, I did her hair at 2:00 in the afternoon, and she didn't go on stage till 7, and she kept it down the whole day. It wasn't up. I didn't get to touch it.
It didn't get frizzy?
No, because the Dream Coat, I prepped it well. I'm a really big product guy, because I use it to really kind of create like the foundation for hair. So, you know, our relationship with Dream Coat was just very natural, because I was kind of doing that very polished hair and that looks finish no matter what it was. And Dream Coat really locked that in. So not only did it protect it from humidity and frizz, it gave you that very luxe finish. And it's like as light as water. So that's another thing that was fresh about it. Most products that, you know, could try and compare don't, because they just make the hair greasy or heavy, and people don't like that. So it's, you know, a really it kind of just blew the hair care world up. And then, we brought our own product out together, the money mask, which just kind of everyone loves.
This is great. Yeah. This is like a very intense, is it like a conditioner?
It's actually not intense. I wanted to bring out a mask with Color Wow because I felt like, I'm about good conditioned hair, and you can do as much to it as you want, but if your hair's not in good condition, it's never going to look great. So we brought out a mask that was different in texture. It's the first texture on the market like it, where it's almost like a gel texture. Because to me, masks were like one of those things that women use once a month, and they leave it on for 20 minutes or sleep in it. But it was just not like a real life everyday thing because there were too much of a, mission to accomplish. And also it was like making your hair flat after and didn't do anything. Your hair was soft, but it was flat to your head. So I wanted a mask that actually restored the moisture levels and the protein levels your hair needs. But also when you did your hair, you felt like it had some guts and some va-va-voom and like volume. Some volume. Yeah. So if you blow dried it, it had hold and bounce. And if you kind of, blow dried the hair out, it had like a quality finish to the hair. So super light, but does all of the necessary work. And that's why we called it money, because it was like that money shot. Great on all hair textures, whether it's curly, straight, color treated or not treated. And I think that's why it became so popular. It sells out all the time. I think we sold out of it 4 times in the US.
Really?
Yeah, it even held up our launch in England because we just couldn't make it fast enough.
Can you put it on your roots? Because I was going to ask you about how do you get the perfect salon blowout at home?
Yeah, I think this is such a regularly asked question, and I think people are getting better at it. I mean, obviously it involves a blow dry, which is probably the part people struggle with. But a lot of it for me is about prepping the hair into a good quality, because if you blow dry your hair out and it's dry, then you're going to have so much more work into like smoothing it out. So for me, by using, using the Color Wow shampoo, the color security shampoo and conditioner. The color security shampoo is amazing because it basically doesn't leave any ingredients behind on the scalp. So a lot of products that offer like moisture or protein or volumizing, they leave a lot of crap behind on your scalp and on your hair, which over time can impede hair loss. It can make your hair weighed down, greasy, lifeless. The shampoo from Color Wow doesn't do that. So it doesn't contain any extra ingredients. It cleans the hair, cleans the scalp, and keeps it fresh. The conditioner is beautiful. It hydrates the hair, strengthens and gives it a beautiful shine. Or if you're using the money mask, it's a little bit more intense. You can use that, twice a week. There's a little bit more of an extra conditioning. But that's like a great foundation to just having soft, beautiful, ready to go hair.
But how about technique-wise? Like technique, like if I was to wash my hair with all of the Color Wow.
Yeah.
And then what?
So then I'd prep it. I always prep hair no matter what I'm doing with the Color Wow Dream Coat, because that's going to give me the finish that I want. It's going to give me that looks finish. And I know no moisture is going to affect it and make it frizzy. And then I usually cheat it. So I dry the hair till it's like 90% dry. It's so funny. I see so many girls on TikToks and they start with their Dyson Airwrap and their like hair's soaking wet. And I'm like, okay, good luck. You're going to be there forever.
Right.
And it's probably just going to drop out. So you want to get 90% of the moisture out, just because no one's got the arm strength for below drying the hair from soaking wet to dry. And even if you think it's dry, you then touch it after and it's probably still damp. So 90% dry. I usually use a big round bristle brush, just grab big sections. I get some of the Color Wow raise the root and I just put a couple of pumps on the root, because that basically is like scaffolding. So it just gets it off your head and gives it some volume. So even if I'm doing a sleek look, I'll still give it some volume at the root, because no one wants like a pea head,
Right. Do you put conditioner on the roots? I heard not to.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, definitely. Just a little bit. I mean, mid-lengths and ends are older hair, so it's had more wear and tear. So mainly mid-lengths and ends, but I've run it through the roots after. Whatever you've got left on your hands. I wouldn't slap it on your roots straight away. I would go on mid-lengths and ends and then work it up to the root.
And then you put curlers on top? So then you're
going to blow dry your hair with a big round brush, just so you get that looks kind of finish. And then you can run it with a flattening iron, or you could just use like a big curling iron, like maybe a 2 or 3 inch, just to kiss the ends, or even some big Velcro rollers if you're not very good with curling your hair with a curling iron. Velcro rollers are great. Yeah. You can then put your makeup on and stuff, and
I mean, so do you say Velcro rollers over that? Or
I just think a lot of girls can't use a curling iron. They get a bit cat-handed. So I think Velcro rollers are a great way of just giving you that blowed out look. And then while the rollers are in, you can do your makeup, go do the kids' breakfast, just go live your life, do whatever you got to do.
When you did J-Lo's hair for the Super Bowl, how did you do that? Was it
the Dream Coat, blowout, and then I did a double curl technique where I used a small curling iron first to get a tight curl, which obviously would be way too tight, and then I brush it out and go in with a much larger curling iron. Really what that does is it kind of gives it the hair so much bite and bounce. When you do a tiny curl in your hair and you brush it out and it's like doing.
Yeah.
It's like super, that's too tight. But then sometimes if you do a really big curl, it looks good and then drops straight out. So if you do the tighter curl first, it gives the hair like this real strong base, and then you go in and loosen it up with a bigger one, but it still has the bite. It still has that bounce and that kind of hold value. So it's called a double curl.
A double curl.
Yeah.
What are the basic essentials that people should have for their hair? Besides, of course, all the color wow stuff. Is there like other things that you need, like those Velcro rollers, like you said? Or
I think everyone's different. Some people have super curly hair, some people have straight hair, some people have frizzy hair, some people have thin hair, so many people have thin hair, you know, so everyone's different. And I think it's really just about getting a personalized range for you. But I think universally what everyone can do is start with the right shampoo and the right conditioner, which is the Dream Coat Color Wow, the Dream Clean shampoo, and either the Money Mask or the regular conditioner. That's like just a great foundation for like shiny, glossy, soft hair. You know what I mean? Like that's a great foundation for a blowout, curling your hair, whatever texture you have. It's just a good base. Whereas if you're using something that's covered in silicones and all these extra ingredients, your hair kind of starts off life. It starts off in a bad way. You know, it starts off wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think, you know, they're the kind of basics. And then the rest is up to the individual, you know, and there's different products for everyone. But
so now, like, so I was saying before I think you were on the phone.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, like, when someone, because you're so popular now and you have everybody, when there's like a Met Gala, for example, and you have J-Lo wants to use you and Kim wants to use you or whoever, how do you decide who do you go to? Where do you go? Like if everyone's using you like for the Oscars or for the Grammys, how do you do that?
It's always down to, I know it sounds kind of silly, it's more just about who gets in there first. I don't pick one over the other. But it's usually just about who books it first. Like Kim booked me straight away last year as soon as she'd done the Met Ball, she booked me for the year after.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah.
Smart. So that's what happens? Like, so you don't, do people get, I mean, there's a lot of big personalities. Is it difficult because they're like, why are you going to J-Lo?
I think everyone respects each other and they know like, it's just like, yeah, I want him too. Like, I get it. Does your hair good? Do you know what I mean? But he's also other great people. So I don't think it's like, you know, a killjoy. It's like, it's just like, okay, you know.
He's busy.
See who else is, you know, available. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why you have an agent because they usually kind of negotiate all of that stuff. I don't honestly get involved with that much stuff. I kind of just roll up. You said today, like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, not really, you know, I'm just here because it's on the schedule and that's like the next thing. Right. My schedule's really busy and it's always kind of like backwards and forwards flying here, there and everywhere. And there's always so much different stuff going on, last minute dramas. There's always so much shit to sort out. So honestly, I'm not that on my schedule because I just know I'm going to be doing stuff and I kind of just turn up and I feel like I have to be in good energy. I can't be like, oh God, and now I've got to go here and now I've got, you know, so I think I keep my mind light by not knowing that because my agent does. So she would just tell me where I need to be and I'm just a part of it. I'm not like, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, you know, because there's certain things that I just need to stress about and it's not my schedule. It's about, you know, how good they're going to look on the red carpet and, you know, does it look perfect? And, you know what I mean? Then the whole world's going to say something about it. So I can't be stressing about my schedule as well. That's just not really what I want to do. So that's why my agent figures it out. So,
hello, agent. Yeah. So what is like the day in the life of you? Like what time, like I want to get into all this other stuff, but like what do you do? What time do you wake up? What is your routine?
I mean,
what are your habits?
I normally wake up around 7. And if I wasn't doing anything, usually 7 o'clock seems to be my wake up time. I like to work out first thing. I like to get it done just because otherwise I'm chasing the day with working out. Mm-hmm. I like to work out because mentally it makes me feel really great and it makes me feel like I'm doing something for myself. So then I feel like I can give to others. And one of the big things I've learned throughout life is, you know, if you're not giving back to yourself, it's very exhausting and draining to give to others because you can only give so much. So that's like my time where I get to sort of focus on myself. And I kind of become known on Instagram as the guy with a good body and stuff. And obviously that's a nice compliment. Obviously I like to look good if I take my top off. Just mentally I feel good. I feel better if I feel comfortable. But I think more it's about my mental state of mind of doing something for myself. Mm-hmm. It affects everything. It starts my day off eating right. It makes me feel more focused, you know, whereas if I don't train and I'm tired, I get sluggish and I eat shit and then I feel worse. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, it just creates like a bad energy with me. So I always like to work out first thing. And then usually, you know, I'm on set. Yesterday I landed from Vegas from the Grammys. We landed and we went straight to set from the plane and we did a shoot all day. And then I didn't manage to work out, so I went straight to the gym after, got home, had my dinner, went to bed, woke up this morning, went to the gym, did just shot with an influencer, got in the car to you, and then I'm getting in the car after. I'm going to do another influencer for another like tutorial TikTok thing. And then tomorrow I go to Kim's, and then we have the premiere for their new show, and then there's another premiere, and then I'm going to Germany for something. I don't know. It's just like,
it sounds like a crazy schedule, though.
Yeah,
like you have to have a lot of energy to kind of keep up with that schedule.
Sometimes I ring my agent. My agent's here. Her name's Clark, guys. She's from the Wall Group. She's honestly the nicest person. She's very kind.
She is.
She's very calm. She's very like practical and like real, which is good for me because I'm a bit of a dreamer sometimes, and I'm a bit of a fantasy kind of guy. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, we can do this and this. She's like, well, logistically, that won't work. That's not going to happen. Like, there's only so many hours in the day. But every now and again, I'll call her, and like, it happens probably once every 6 months where I get really overwhelmed, and I'll like ring her and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm a human. You know, I can't do this. I'm a human being. You guys are making me get on these planes. But really, I've agreed to it all. I'm like, yeah. Right. And then I'm doing it, and I'm like, oh. But she knows me now as well. She'll be like, well, Chris, I know you're saying yes to that, but that means you'll have no sleep because you'll be going on the red eye. And then I think you need, you know, so she really looks after my health as well, which is really nice because she'll be like, you know, I know you'll need like a little bit of time to catch up. Or even today, she was like, we start at 10 so you can go to the gym, which was great. So, because I've just come off that Vegas stint and went straight to work. So she knew my schedule had been busy. No, I didn't actually.
So like what happens? Are you like on call? Like what, if you're booked on a job, are you just on call until that, like the Vegas thing is a perfect example?
Well, yeah, you know, we got do her ready in the morning, and we did the color, and then we did the hair, and then we went to the red carpet, and then we went from the red carpet and she did the presenting, and then we went to back to the hotel, and we got dressed for the after party, and then we went for dinner, and then we went to the after party, and then we went to we just went to the after party, and that was it. And then I don't know, I guess we got in. I mean, I'm not really a partier, but I guess we got in at like maybe 3, I think. And then I think we had to be downstairs at, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
It's exhausting. I mean, honestly, so if you're not even a partier, like, do you have to do all those extra things? I'm not a partier,
but I will tell you this. I am my motto of life is to die with memories, not dreams. I think you're going to die one day. You're going to die, and your mom's going to die, and your dad's going to die, and your friends are going to die, and he's going to die, and you're going to die, and you're going to die. We're all going to be dead. And I think sometimes we forget that. I know it sounds so miserable, but I was listening to this thing the other day, and he was just saying, we're all going to die. And like, sometimes we think we're going to live forever, and we're not. Like, so I just try and make sure that I'm like present as much as possible. I can't live in the past because it's already gone. I can't live in the future because it's definitely not happened yet. All I can really do is be in the moment. And sometimes I'm like, you know, this is an incredible journey I'm on right now. I'm in this amazing place. I'm going to enjoy myself, you know, and I'm not wild, but, you know, like, for example, in the after party, I could have gone home, but I was like, you know what, we'll go out and have a drink. And it was fun, you know, and it was really great to be a part of. And I think I definitely push myself sometimes with like having a personal life, like going to the gym, even if it's like 4 a.m. because you have to be on set at 6. Like, but you know, I work hard and play hard, and I think that's the balance for me.
Yeah, and I think also working out is very important, just for the mental stuff, but also it gives you more energy.
Definitely.
If you didn't do it, you would have less energy to kind of sustain this crazy schedule.
Yeah.
But I like that quote, "Memories, not dreams," because that is so true.
I just think we're all so comfortable with like what we all think we're going to live forever, and unfortunately we're not. And we'll all be dead and gone one day. You know, it's really funny. I look at past eras and like, you know, Marilyn Monroe or something like that. And everyone thinks they're going to live forever, but we're not. And, you know, and life's precious and family's precious. And, you know, I have 2 kids who I want to enjoy and I want to inspire them. And I don't want to be obsessed with, you know, my job. Like I am obsessed, and it's a focus of mine, but I've really learned to like, let go of things a little bit. You can't just be so in control. Sometimes you got to live life and feel the ride, you know? You can't just be so tense about it all. You got to just like be present and be in it, you know?
But is it hard to have a life when you're on someone else's schedule so hardcore like that?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, because you're all in control. We're all in control of our own destiny. People make such bullshit excuses. I'm like so sick of people talking shit. They're like, I'm too busy to go to the gym. Like, oh. And I'm like, bitch, yep. If I can go, you can go. Like, get up, shut up. Like, yeah, totally we all have the same amount of hours in the day. Like, I think it comes down to motivation and like how much you actually want it. Like, I don't want to take my top off on the beach and feel like I don't take care of myself just because I'm just like, I'm 38, like I'm in a great place in my life. I'm really happy and I want that to reflect. Like I don't want to be, of course I just want to eat ice cream and stuff, but and and I do eat. I think it's about balance, but I'm also kind of like, I don't know. Like I feel like it would be like having a really messy house and saying, I just really want to clean the house and I just want it to be clean. But I'm like, well, just get up and clean it. You know what I mean? I have to motivate myself that way. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm like, yeah, but also like you want to feel good about yourself. So just go do it, And
where do you work out? What do you do workout wise? Because you're obviously in amazing shape.
Oh, thank you. I do a bit of everything. I do jiu-jitsu. I do...
How often are you
jiu-jitsu,
doing it?
I do jiu-jitsu because it's actually a really good practice to like be present. It's a really being
It's
present.
good for your mental
state. Yeah. And it's really, you have to be really present. I don't look at my phone. I don't touch my phone. And it's...
You can't. You won't be...
No, to be really focused.
Yeah.
So I do that. And then I also do regular like weight training. I do a lot of like hikes because I don't love cardio. I find it a bit boring on the treadmill and the Stairmaster. Oh God, it's terrible. Whoever invented that Stairmaster is just rotten. Every time my trainer's like, okay, go on that. And I'm like,
no one likes it.
It never gets easier.
No, it doesn't.
Why doesn't it get easier?
I don't know, because it's super hard.
Yeah, every time. But I'll do that sometimes.
Do you run, like actual jog?
I don't love running in the street.
Yeah,
I'm not really a fan of that. But I'll do other things to keep. I like to go a good hike or, whatever. I'll do what it takes. But
every day, are you working? Are you doing something every day?
Yeah, probably 6 days a week.
Okay.
But like I say, it's more like some people think that's too much, but like it's more. I just would rather be doing that than sitting watching TV.
Yeah.
Or don't get me wrong, I like doing that sometimes, like sit and watch TV and just kind of chilling. But it's something about working out. It releases endorphins. It's scientifically proven to make you feel better, and I'm about doing things that make you feel better.
Absolutely.
So I think I could get a bit depressed if I didn't do it, honestly. If I'm honest, I think I could probably get really weighed down with everything, all the responsibilities I have from, my job to, being a dad to living in Hollywood to the pressures of being good at what you do. I think it really helps me a lot.
Yeah, no, you're preaching to the converted. I mean, This is what I could not agree with you more.
And each to their own. I'm not saying everyone has to do it. It's not as though like I feel like everyone has to look the same or be the same. But it's just about more like trying to find mental clarity and mental health and mental wellness. I think that we could all sometimes take some responsibility. I remember speaking to my mum once. I was really down about something, and she's like, Chris, at this point, it's like you're just wallowing in it. And I was like, what? She's right. Like, I've got to try and start looking at the things that make me happy in the day. Like the sun is shining, I can hear the birds. Like I live in Hollywood. It's like certain things that like, you need to check yourself.
Totally. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Is there anything that you haven't done that you like are wanting to do like in the future? Like, is there like something that you still haven't been able to like conquer? I feel like everybody who does what you do, that's like you're at the pinnacle. Everybody wants to do those people's hair and be having this career.
Okay.
Is there anything, I mean, that obviously, right? Like in your wildest dreams, like you said, when you were in London doing your mom's hair, did you ever think that you would get this far and be doing this?
I always knew, this really funny thing when I was a kid. I remember looking outside the window, I was like about 6 and lived in a northern town in England, and it was really like rainy and dreary and grey. And I remember being in my bedroom and I looked out the window and it's very like grey outside. And I remember thinking, I don't think I'm gonna have a life like this when I'm older. I think I want a life of colour. I want colours. I don't want this grey. I want like whatever that meant. I just felt like I was always going to do something different. I just felt like I was not going to be a 9 to 5 kind of guy. And I'm very like humble and grateful that I found a craft that has enabled me to express myself artistically, but also just emotionally and mentally enabled me to grow in so many ways. And I'm really grateful and thankful for the people I work for and the opportunities I've had in my life. And I'm just grateful. I'm really grateful. So yeah, like I guess I am in a pinnacle of my career, but I'm also just like, I'm just trying to be grateful for everything I've got. I'm not, I think some people believe in their own hype a bit too much and I think they're the greatest. And I think that doesn't really work. I don't like that. I think we're all same. We're all humans. We all breathe the same air. We all like get happy sometimes. We all get sad sometimes. We're all we're just real people. And I think I just try and be, like I said, just stick to the motto of like living my life and being present and enjoying the moment.
Yeah. I mean, because you also were like winning all these awards as a kid, I read, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like obviously you were super.
I also didn't win a lot of awards.
I thought you did.
But there's a lot of awards I did, but there's also so many awards I didn't win before that. You know, it's probably lost more awards than I have won. So yeah, it's funny that when you become known, everyone wants to talk about and celebrate every award you've won. But I've also sat there and not won every award. I've also sat there and had to applaud other people and then come back, you know. I think I've not just been lucky. I've been plenty of times like tried my bloody hardest and put everything into it and it just wasn't recognized. And then you come back and you go again and, you know.
Yeah, no, I
some of it's luck, some of it's right time, right person. I don't know.
A lot of it's
like a relationship. It's like, you know, some are good, some are bad.
Totally.
And then someone might go, oh my God, you guys are so happy. You guys have the perfect relationship. But they've usually worked at being better people. They've usually worked on their self, you know, like, you know, emotionally, mentally, you know, they've also been probably worked on themselves of what they're looking for the right partner, what is right for them. And then, you know, even when you're together, it doesn't mean you know, every day you decide to be together, every day is, you know, you work towards, you know, being a stronger couple. So I think everything's work. So I think when, you know, people say, oh, you're really happy. And it's like, yeah, we work for it. You know, we work to be good together. Yeah. And that's why I'm single.
I was going to say, it must be hard for you to be, well, also because you travel so much, it must be difficult to like have a relationship, or could you take them with you, or they have to have the flexibility, or.
I mean, I don't want to talk about relationships too much, but I just think I've struggled to find someone compatible for, at the end of the day, what people think are going to get like on Instagram. And I've said this from the beginning, it's like really not who I am. It's a really small part of who I am. You know, me with pictures of my top off or with famous people or living the life. Like really, I'm not bougie. I don't want to go out to fancy restaurants. I'd rather sit at home and cook dinner in and talk. And, you know, I'm much more humble than what I guess Hollywood is or social media provides. And I think sometimes people are attracted to me because they want the lifestyle or to meet celebrities. And I didn't realize that Hollywood was so much. There's a lot of people that come to Hollywood to be something. Yeah. So I think they get with people that they feel like they can get a ladder up. And I didn't really realize that culture. I didn't know, because I've just worked hard for everything I've got. I didn't realize there was that people would want to be with you because of who you work with or because of numbers on Instagram or how much money you've got and stuff. You didn't
realize that? Yeah, it's terrible.
I had to learn the hard way. So I think I'm a little bit more guarded now. I think relationships are a lot of work, and when I'm in one, I'm all in. I'm really committed. Like anything I do, I try and be really committed to, and I want to be the best version of myself. But I guess if you've not met the right person, it can end up being a kind of a bad thing in your life. You know, it takes away your focus from work. It takes away your focus on with friends and family. And I think when something starts to feel like a drain, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I don't have a bad life. So I've tried to become much better with that kind of stuff as well. Like not just staying stuff. Like so many people are in unhappy relationships, and I know it's hard and I know it's really scary and we're not all in the right position to be on our own. But sometimes I'm just like, I think I'm doing myself a disjustice to like be with someone that I'm not happy with. And I think to myself, I didn't come this far to just come this far. Like
I say that,
you know, and there's no one bad. It's not as though anyone's bad. It's just like about compatibility, isn't it? It's about like what you think a relationship should hold or what you're giving. And if you're giving so much more in a relationship and you're not getting it back, it just gets tiring. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to keep giving all the time. You know, it'd be nice to. So I think it's relationships are definitely. Obviously, it's something I've always wanted it. You know, I've always wanted the dream and to get married and all that. But I also then think of my life and I'm like, you know, I think this is my journey right now. And I think, you know, when the time's right, it's right. And I work on myself a lot. I'm really into like self-help books and listening to like podcasts and just learning about myself and why we do what we do. And, you know, things about your childhood of what you've seen and you think is what right for a relationship, but actually like what actually I really want for a relationship or what I'm really looking for in someone. And
what is it? What is it you're really looking for? Do you want them to be in entertainment and beauty? Do you rather than be like more of...
I don't want to date myself, that's for sure.
I was going to say like that might be too much.
I'm pretty spontaneous. I love a good adventure. I really like to live life. I like to feel alive. I like doing little trips or just fun things, but I also just love being at home and, being cooking or just laughing and smiling. I think you should have that with your partner, and, being able to talk to each other and support one another and be open with each other and talk about how you feel, or, how to grow together, how to grow and move on. And I think I'm just looking for someone that it doesn't matter what they do. I don't care. They could work at Starbucks if they're passionate about it, then great. But just someone that's like solid in who they are and what they want. And I think I've done a lot of work on myself. And I think maybe in my experience, like not everyone has done that or wanted to. They're fine just being
where they are.
You know what I mean? And that's fine. But when you date someone, it's very different, because it's okay having friends, but that's like, there's so much control with that. When you live with someone, you see everything and every little annoying habit because you're at the highlight of being together all the time. So certain things will irritate you, and it's kind of like, you do this thing and it can come across as like not that nice. It's like, oh, do I? Like, oh, okay. I know before someone like I in England, the culture is very different, and it's more like people will swear more. So it's just like, oh, F this or F that. It's just very much part of the culture. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not as offensive. But coming to America, people don't really speak like that. So that was something that I'd be like, oh, for F's sake, or, just generally, like if I forgot, I'd be like, oh, damn. And he'd be like, oh, when you swear, something's going to be a bit offensive. And I'm like, really? Really? I don't mean it like that. And then I remember speaking to my brother. I was like, have you noticed when you swear? And he was like, you know what? Someone said that to me before as well. And I was like, yeah, I need to work on that. That's something I need to, but I just know it from being a kid and part of my culture.
Yeah.
But I never thought it was anything different. But I'm like, yeah, I need to work on that.
Right.
And it is even stuff like, that could be something stupid. Like I say to people, you okay? Because that's what we say in England. But here, if I say, if you're okay to someone, like, yeah, why? Why?
That's true.
Because in England, saying are you okay is literally like going, how's it going? But when you say are you okay here, it's like there's a problem or something. You know what I mean? It's
People
different.
get defensive.
So it's like when someone explains that to you, I'm not just going to be like, oh, well, that's who I am. Right. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try and be more accommodating to that. So I think I'm good at that kind of stuff, and not everyone is. Not everyone likes to be pulled up on those things.
Yeah.
They're like, well, it's just who I am. And I'm like, yeah, we are who we are, but we can all make little changes if it's for the benefit of everyone and probably yourself and how people perceive you.
Right.
That's it.
Well, what's your favorite? You say you love the self-help stuff. What's your favorite book? Then what kind of, who do you look to for that kind of stuff?
I like podcasts a lot. Not podcasts, audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
I do like podcasts as well, but I like audiobooks because, they're easy to listen to on a plane.
Totally.
Or, no one's have to carry the book around. At the minute, I'm listening to, let me just check my audio. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, yeah, it's called Savage Wisdom by Adam Cam. And it's really like kind of cutthroat. And he swears a lot, but he's very much like, about taking responsibility for your life, taking responsibility for how you feel or how others make you feel, how you allow others to make you feel.
Yeah.
Or, it says stupid things. It's not stupid actually, but silly things. Oh, it's not even silly. It's just small things, I guess, like, there's two people in your life you need to make proud. Do you know who they are? Yourself. You. Okay.
And the second person, I don't know. Who would it be? Okay,
well, you're nearly there. But basically, a lot of people would say my parents. But the two people you need to make proud of in your life is the 8-year-old you and the 80-year-old you. And I think like that's then someone that lives a successful life. If the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old, can you say, like if you're on your deathbed, you can look back and be proud of yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I like those little things that make you stop and think a little bit about life.
What's the book called?
It's called Savage Wisdom.
I like that.
But he's pretty aggressive because he swears a lot, and people say like they don't like it. The other thing I listened to what I really enjoyed, What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. I thought that was a good book. She was talking, she's had an incredibly interesting life.
Yes.
And things that she talks about is like what she knows for sure is about, emotions or relationships or feelings. And again, it's usually from experiencing those things, making mistakes